Salut à tous, bienvenue pour cette nouvelle vidéo. On va jouer à Sherlock Holmes, Crimes and Punishment sur Nintendo Switch, regardez. Il est là le jeu. Le jeu sort sur Switch le 3 février 2022, uniquement en téléchargement. J'ai reçu un code grâce à l'éditeur qui me l'a envoyé, donc je le remercie. J'ai le droit de vous mettre la vidéo un jour avant, donc le 2 février à je ne sais plus quelle heure. Mais sachez que j'ai le jeu depuis plusieurs jours. Voilà. Alors c'est pas un jeu inédit, hein. Faut le savoir qu'il est sorti, je crois, il y a 3 ans. 3 ans je pense, sur PC, PlayStation 4 et Xbox One. Donc là il arrive enfin sur Switch. Et c'est un bon jeu. Les Sherlock Holmes, j'aime bien ça de base. Celui-là j'avais vraiment apprécié. Donc si vous êtes un peu fan de ce genre de jeu, on va voir un peu le portage Switch, mais en termes de qualité pure de jeu, c'est un très bon jeu. Après, est-ce que le jeu va bien rendre sur la Switch? Bah ça c'est autre chose, hein. On va le voir. Déjà beaucoup de temps de chargement, assez longuet. Attendez, au niveau du son déjà ça m'a l'air un peu faiblard pour vous. Je vais vous le monter un tout petit peu. Et la musique qui va démonétiser ma vidéo, superbe. Attendez, est-ce que je peux l'enlever? Audio, la musique. On va la baisser pour l'instant. On la remettra après. On se met sur le canapé. Alors il y a énormément d'aliasing. On est juste en intérieur et je vois énormément d'aliasing. On est à 30 images secondes. Qui ne m'a pas l'air très très stable. Mais bon, on va voir, on va voir. Après, moi, je vais vous dire maintenant, la Switch, j'y joue quasiment plus qu'en mode portable en fait. J'y joue très très peu sur la télé, si ce n'est à Mario Kart. Sinon, vraiment, j'avoue qu'avant la Switch, je jouais tout le temps en mode télé. Et c'est clairement plus le cas.
Yes, of course it is. And you almost killed me.
Nonsense. I was aiming for the vases.
Blindfolded?
Watson, quiet, please. I'm trying to concentrate. Ah, Lestrade. What is it this time?
He can see me. Well, here it is, and it's a good one, Mr. Holmes. A gentleman by the name of Peter Carey, also known as Black Peter, has been murdered.
A sailor, most probably.
What happened here?
Oh, Mr. Holmes, how could you?
It's the only exercise I've had all week. A grateful client from Limoges sent me a vase collection this morning. I couldn't think of a better use for it.
You're out of your mind.
I missed 4 out of 10.
Given you were blindfolded, that was very good. Can I have a try?
Am I the only sane one here?
I suppose that Watson is right, Inspector. A little brain work would be preferable now. Do please tell us more about Black Peter.
Peter Carey, born in 1845 and 50 years old. An ambitious sort, he achieved much success in seal and whale hunting around Scandinavia. Retired in 1884 with a small fortune. He invested his money in a property called Woodman's Lee, near Forest Row in Sussex. It was where he lived for 6 years, and where he was found dead yesterday.
Has the investigation already begun?
Yes and no. In fact, this crime is so mysterious that I would prefer you to join me down there.
Give me half an hour to prepare, Inspector.
Take your time and join me there. I have to go through the yard first. The Medi men struck again.
What have they done this time?
They robbed a powder reserve. I'll meet you at Woodman's Lee, Mr. Holmes.
I should help Mrs. Hudson here. I also have several appointments that I must keep this afternoon.
I shall go alone then.
Alors. Oh, ça m'a l'air plutôt fluide. Encaissé sur le mode de Peter Carey.
My archive. I can always consult with it.
Ah, ça, je me souviens qu'il faudra la lettre.
My
Non,
archive.
la lettre. Voilà, ça répond pas très bien.
This is where I keep my post.
Chambre de Watson. Oh, ça va, hein. Niveau des détails. Oui, il y a de l'aliasing, mais bon, on est sur Switch. Oh, faut que je me change. Oh la vache. Ok, passionnant. Ah, attends. Coiffeuse, on s'en fout. Armoire. Alors, intérieur, marin, informel, plaie usuel, plaie noire, plaie brun. On va prendre intérieur. Ah non, il est bloqué. On va prendre celui-là. Voilà, petit bug d'affichage, vous l'avez vu. Allez, on y va. Ouais, c'est un jeu d'enquête, hein, pour ceux qui savent pas, c'est un peu comme un point and click si vous voulez. Il y aura des petites énigmes à résoudre, etc. Un peu comme Agatha Christie que je vous avais fait, hein, ce sont des jeux assez similaires. Bien que je trouve qu'il y a quand même une meilleure qualité chez les Sherlock Holmes.
Mr. Holmes, I'm over here. Come on.
Oh bah franchement, c'est honnête hein, pour de la Switch, regardez.
It seems that the garden was well maintained.
On va aller d'abord parler au policier.
Inspector Lestrade, when will you remove my husband's body? It's sacrilegious to leave him here like this.
As soon as we can, Mrs. Carey, I assure you. Allow me to introduce you to Mr. Sherlock Holmes. He's a detective. No doubt you've heard of him. I'll wait for you in front of the cabin, Mr. Holmes.
My condolences, Mrs. Carey.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
Madam, can you tell me if you saw or heard anything unusual upon the night of the murder?
At 2 o'clock in the morning, I heard a terrible scream, but I thought nothing of it then. He would scream all the time when he was drunk.
Can you please tell me what occurred on the evening of the murder?
Well, Peter got drunk in the evening. He was in such a terrible temper. Usually whenever that happened, he'd stay all night drinking in his cabin before passing out.
Do you remember at what time you found your husband's body?
In the morning, at around 7 o'clock, I noticed the cabin door was open, but I didn't go in to take a look, for I knew my husband would not have liked it. At around 10 o'clock, I dared to glance in through the door and... oh dear.
Was your husband accustomed to receiving visitors?
Oh no, I don't think so. I mean, he didn't really have many friends. He lived quite an isolated life here, after his retirement.
The garden is very large and well maintained. Do you employ someone to look after it?
It is true, there is a lot of work, but my husband took care of it himself.
Et... Alors, inspectons la madame. Ah, attendez, j'ai loupé quelque chose avant les gants. Ah ça.
You have indeed suffered a great loss, Mrs. Carey. Nevertheless, I believe it will be less of a burden for you soon.
Yes, life with Peter was never easy, but he was still my husband.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Oh my goodness, but how do you know about that?
You undertook a pilgrimage to the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela when you were young. That much is evident from the rosary in your hand. The shortest route for the pilgrim from England to Spain is from Plymouth. I believe that you met Peter Carey as a young sailor there, and you married him soon afterwards.
That is indeed what happened, Mr. Holmes. How extraordinary.
Thank you, madam.
Alors, la cabine.
The door is locked.
Wait just a moment, Mr. Holmes, and I'll open it. I locked it yesterday to ensure that no one should enter the cabin and tamper with the evidence.
Ah, good thinking.
Hello, hello, hello.
What is it, Lestrade?
It seems to me that someone has tried to force it, Mr. Holmes.
Let me see. These scratches are fresh. You're right. Someone tried to force open the door.
I swear these scratches were not here yesterday.
Our mysterious visitor came here last night.
Well, he's not the man for the job. This lock is not a difficult one.
Perhaps he did not have the right tool.
Ah, c'est un petit peu dommage tous ces petits temps de chargement, bien que celui-là n'était pas très long.
What a terrible way to die.
Je peux rien faire avec cette map. Ouais, si à mon avis, il y avait quelque chose à faire.
The tooth of a sperm whale, probably from one of Peter Carey's catches. This place is not covered with dust, like the rest of the shelf. An object was taken from here. It was larger than a book, a box or a small chest, perhaps.
Ok.
It seems that the guard...
Non, là. Là! Sérieux, putain, elle me trigger cette carte là. Je peux rien faire avec.
The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Peter Carey was her captain. Harpoons for hunting whales. The Sea Unicorn. She was the ship that Peter Carey commanded. Someone drank from this glass recently. The initials PC have been crudely burned. A sailor's work.
Du tabac.
This aroma is familiar, but to recognize it, I must construct my associations in one picture.
Pas mal là, non? Ça marche pas. Je peux rien faire. Attends, je peux te trouver. Ok. On va le passer hein, pour pas perdre trop de temps.
Yes. This is a coarse tobacco, quite strong and very
Ah, ça fait déjà
popular
20
among
minutes.
sailors.
On ira pas au bout de l'enquête, hein. Je vais pas vous faire une vidéo trop longue, je voulais vous montrer comment le jeu tournait.
Rum, a sailor's drink. It seems that Captain Carey was enjoying a drink before he met his death. Peter Carey's boots. They look to be a size 8. Old navigation instruments, nothing interesting. The weapon fully penetrated the body. The force of the blow was immense. This man is in his 50s, yet he still looks quite strong. Peter Carey was fully dressed. He was not caught by surprise. It is possible that he knew his murderer. Peter Carey was impaled to the wall by a whaling harpoon. This wooden handle is plain and solid. This blood is from the pool underneath the dead body. Peter Carey tried to defend himself with this knife, but he did not succeed. JHN are probably the initials of the owner of this notebook.
C'est tout, y a rien à voir, je peux pas l'ouvrir. Ah, c'est là.
The pattern of the blood stain indicates that the notebook was not lying on the floor prior to the crime, but it was dropped into the pool of blood after the death of Peter Carey. These abbreviations mean something, but what?
Ah, attendez, on a un truc là, Y. Alors, on peut aller au mur, je peux peut-être le mettre avec le calepin. Non, ça ne va pas. Ok, superbe. Calepin. Option.
Someone was here yesterday. They attempted to force the door to gain entry.
Organiser une embuscade. Mais vous savez quoi, on va s'arrêter là, ça fait 22 minutes qu'on est ensemble. J'espère que cette vidéo vous aura plu. N'hésitez pas à me dire si le jeu vous intéresse sur la Switch. Merci à tous et à très vite.